Hey, Dot Sisters, and our friends across the globe. It is Shannon Crotty, founder and CEO of Polka Dot Powerhouse, here with the very first installment of interviews I'm doing with the Decade Dots. Dots that have been a member of our family for 10 years or more. And I am honored and thrilled to have our first victim be the fabulous Dorris Burch. Dorris, thank you for being on with me today.
Oh, Shannon, I'm so deeply honored. Of course. Yes.
Yay. So first I want to do I have so many things I want to talk about with you. It's like, okay, where to start? For those in our community or those who are watching our community, if you don't know Doris, you have not been in Polka Dot maybe for a hot minute, because Doris is a pillar of our community. And here's the first thing. When I was writing down questions, let's just get right to it. The
Okay.
fabulous Dorris Burch. For as long as I have known you, that has been your full, as far as I know, legal name. Where did that come from?
Okay. So back in 2013, a year before I'm in Polka Dot, I'm trying to think of what's going to be my catch for as a transformation coach. What is going to be something that would make me different? And all of a sudden, I just started remembering when I was a little girl, because I've always been a fashion girl, that I loved the Vogue magazine. And I deeply just embodied that in my spirit and soul growing up. So when I just decided that I was going to walk off the cover of a Vogue magazine. Anytime I just went out to something, I was just going to be like a Vogue magazine cover, which to me was really fabulous. The only thing I wanted to add deeper as a transformation coach was that, okay, it just can't be the regular dictionary fabulous. It has to be deeper, for people, for other women to know that they too can be fabulous. They, not just me, I don't own it, but they get to own it too, which comes to owning your power. It's a power move. It's a confidence move that I just was like, I'm going to exhibit this, and it needs to reach the ethers of the internet so other people can be attracted to my power so that I could get clients. Because I'm like, I don't know how to work this internet thing, but I know energy and I know frequency and I know vibration. And that is where it all came from. And I'm like, I'm just going to be the fabulous Dorris Burch. And it's really, as I'm saying this and going back there, I just decided. I didn't question it. I didn't wonder what people were going to think about me. I just decided that was going to be my name. And I'm in the process of trademarking that. So that is my business persona.
But for those of us who have known you for a certain amount of time, you can't think of Doris Burch and not insert that. It is like it would be a violation and a scandal to try to mention your name without putting the name the fabulous in front of it. So for those who are looking for branding, marketing, like expertise, it's the most perfect confidence that you've brought to this is who you are. And here's the other thing, and maybe this was a top secret between you and me. I don't know this, but I've not only seen you instill that in people, but it is everything with you. You are very conscious of the scent, the smell that's around you, of the sounds that you listen to. It's not just, I think the reason it's so strong and the reason that it has really caught on and it's ingrained in people, the fabulous Dorris Burch is not just for show. The fabulous
Right.
Dorris Burch is who you embody. It's the life that you lead. It's the person that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, because it's just people who don't even know me, never physically met me. Once they hear that, they'll always give that to me. It's like, and I'm like, I'm just intrigued by it, because I'm like, that really is how branding should go. Um, it just should be an embodiment of who you are. It just should be an extension of who you are. Um, and I just did it because that was just what came to me. And confidence and owning my power has just been a big thing for me from college to working corporate jobs, to doing this thing that we call being entrepreneurs, business women. I mean, you just, as women, we just have to be confident. We just have to own our power.
Yeah.
We just do.
We either do or someone else owns it, right? Like if someone's going to own
Right.
it, you better
Right.
be you, or you're going to hand that power to someone else.
Right. Right. And we've all seen what it looks like for a woman not to have her power and somebody else owns it. It's not pretty.
Absolutely. And when I've connected people with, like when I've connected with members, and I know, look, they've got to connect with Dorris. I always tell them, now look at Dorris is unapologetically her. I think that that should be trademarked with your name, unapologetically her. And she, just so you know, I think, to be honest with you, this is not your problem nor mine. That is scary for some women.
Yeah. Yes, it
Scary to
is.
meet someone who told, we throw that around, the unapologetically, but to meet someone who embodies that, who is themselves and has no disrespect for the world, but does not need your approval.
Right.
Continue to embody
Yeah.
that is scary because it goes against, I think, what women have been taught to be.
You're right. And especially as women who are running their businesses, and especially when your business gets to be a certain number, financially and client wise, this unapologeticness about who you choose to be as a woman entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, which sometimes I think people get misconstrued, that they don't add that businesswoman thing to the woman entrepreneurs, because people are jumping in the women entrepreneur pool left and right. You have to be a businesswoman. It is a business that you are running, or several, and like you are the queen of businesses and ideals that come through you, each one. And then you sold a business. That's a businesswoman. Yes, you're a woman entrepreneur. Yes, you're on your body, but you had to be unapologetic about it all, and not let yourself be triggered by you walking in your own power. Other people get triggered by that when you own who you are, and when you are just walking through being who you are, or the boundaries you have decided that are attached to you because you have to do that for yourself. I always look at you, because you, in different versus my business and your business, you have this international baby that I don't know if you saw that completely, but when I met you in 2014, I saw it completely. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. I have to be in here. I'm like, I'm in. You said we could connect with people who lived in other places. Extraordinary in 2014. I had been a part of other women's groups, but they all were just local. And even if there was one that had a a a United States feel, and maybe even outside of the United States, it still was local. It still had that localness to it. You said I could meet women who lived in other places, and I was like, see, these are my people, because I was looking for my people, because I was like, in 2014, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with these groups. I'm like, I don't know where my people are. And like, but this isn't working. And then Polka Dot pops in near the last quarter, the final quarter of the year, final quarter, October, right? October, November, whatever, at the end of the year of 2014. And I'm like, yes. And my only reason, I tell people, over the years, when I've had dot connects with people, I'm like, and I feel a certain energy with them about being a part of Polka Dot. And I just happily share that when I came in Polka Dot, the only thing I wanted to do was meet other women who lived in other places. That's all I wanted. I wanted to meet other women who lived in other places. I didn't come in Polka Dot to market my business. I didn't worry about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was the least thing that I cared about. I cared about meeting other women, because I wasn't in a position to meet other women. And I wanted to build relationships with other women. And as you know, I call Polka Dot the magical land because there is nothing on this planet that has the essence and the embodiment that you brought the polka dot. And I tell people you have to, if you don't even meet Shannon, because you know some people are too intimidated to actually know they can have a dot connect with you and get to know you, the founder, because it's always seems like taboo to meet the creator of the thing.
Right.
But I said at least read the story of why she created polka dot. Because if you read the story, it tells you very clearly what this is. And it is only that. And if you try to not do that, it will not work for you. You have to know why she created this. When you know why she created it, you'll feel the embodiment of it, and then it will work for you. When people say it, they don't get whatever, you don't know why this place has been created. You don't know why we're in this magical land. This keyword, connection.
Yes.
And I literally cry sometimes thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, I know all these incredible women primarily because I've been a part of Polka Dot. And who knew 10 years, 10 freaking years later?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like yesterday I just came. It's 10 years ago. 10
Yeah.
years ago. Our boys
And
have graduated from college.
yes.
What's going on?
And we have been, that's the thing is that there are some members intimidated, but you and I have trusted each other to get to know each other and see ourselves evolve through our visionary stuff. So you are a style influencer. How else do you describe yourself? What do you describe yourself when someone says, so what do you do, Doris? What do you do?
That's like the best question. You would think I would really know the answer to that, like smooth off my tongue. But the truth is, I'm a girl who is a fashion girl. I'm a fashion girl to the T. Once I, well, here's the thing. I will say this because as we get older, we think sometimes our thing is for when we were younger. And we think we passed something. Like if we didn't grab onto it and really ride it all the way, it's over. But the truth is, and I learned this from my mom, especially during her last year, is that we are always that girl. We are always that girl version of ourselves. And whatever dreams and desires that that girl within us has had, she still has them. They are not gone. They're still there. And so I really have, first of all, I'm very deep and have a very powerful gift of discernment and understanding energy and frequency. And that's not that I studied that stuff. It really is just who I am. If I probably studied it, I would probably get a little bit more powerful. But I just take it where I'm at and I just use it for how I use it, which makes me a really great coach. But it also makes me a really great woman, period. And I had to really get honest with myself about my dreams and desires. Like I was trying to pretend that as much as I love the coaching, as much as I love publishing books, I was trying to make those be the things I was in love with. I love doing those things. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to do that. But what I love is fashion. And I had to decide I'm a fashion girl who owns her freaking power. I'm very unapologetic about it. I I claim to own a room when I walk in it. No offense to nobody else. Everybody can own the room, but I'm owning it too. And that's just who I am. I'm gonna come in with that thing. And I know had some dots come up to me when they meet me in celebration and they're just surprised that they can feel the warmth through my soul and be like, oh, you are approachable. Oh, you do talk to people. Like, where did you get that I don't? It's like, is fabulous the thing that makes you think that I'm like not going to be relatable? I'm very relatable. We're women. We can all relate to each other one way or another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you've evolved, like I've seen so much clarity. When I went to do some research before this interview, at some point this website changed and I didn't catch it. And I'm looking at your website and I let out a shriek. I'm like, I could feel Doris coming off that page as I scrolled in the different components of your website. I remember the website before, and I don't know when it changed, and I don't want to know because then I'll be embarrassed that I just now caught it. But I remember the website. The website was great before. I can see it in my head. I can see your logo. But somewhere along the line, that clarity of what makes you you and what brings you joy and where your genius is, must I put a download in you, because this new website, or probably not new, but the website I saw that I had
Okay,
never
so which
seen.
one were you on? Were you on the DorrisBurch.com
Yes.
one? Okay, yes,
Yes.
it did recently change.
Woo.
This, let me tell you, this is how it operates with women. When we are really, I'll say this, when we know, it's not like we don't know we're confident people.
Right.
Not that we don't know it, but we can also, that visibility thing, we can also hide in our own level of power because we know it's time for us to go to another level. So with this trademarking of the fabulous Doris Burch, that's a huge thing. And I said it as celebration. And because I said it, another powerful dot who's just, I'm like, you just love the women who are in their power, who people are like, oh, you know, you need to talk to so and so and so and so. Do you know she made sure she reached out to me? Because that's one of her expertise is trademarking, and she works with a lot of dots. I was like, okay, look at you. Right on, call, because I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to do this because this means something bigger. And so as we're talking, it's so funny how you can get mad about yourself through somebody else because they're kind of calling you out, and got a little antsy about something. And I was like, she has the nerve. And then when I got off and had to really process it, I was like, all she's really doing is calling me out that the visibility needs to be, if you're trademarking this thing and we want to make sure it gets trademarked,
Right.
and that the trademark people don't have a reason to not,
Right.
it requires another level of visibility. And I was like, okay. I slept on it, got up the next day, got my web guy, and was like, okay, this thing is getting ready to be about me. And that is what you felt. That's a, it just is, it had me on there before, but now it has me on there for real. And that's powerful.
Exactly what you said, though. Remember just a minute ago, you said this was scary because it means a different level. The visibility of you, Doris, on that new website is on a whole nother level. You were on the other website,
Mhm.
but it was kind of like small. There's nothing small about Doris Burch. This feels like Doris Burch
Right.
because it is so many different versions of you, which are all perfect. Like,
You're right. You're right. The other version was a small, dimmed down part. And
no.
that's how a lot of times we show up as women in our small, like we don't want to really put us out. This one is smack dab in your face. I'm like, I haven't even made, I'm supposed to be made a post about that. I have the screenshots of the before and the after, and I still haven't given myself permission, which maybe now is the time, since it's being brought up, to talk about that visibility thing. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I shrieked. Brian, like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm just looking at someone's website. It's amazing. Okay. So another way I think of you, anytime someone says fear of success, because I think most women think fear of success. That's not true. Women don't. They do, because here's the thing. You don't fear success, but I think of that when someone says it, I think of you. When you're playing on a big level and the level that you are meant to play on there's a lot of target practice going on. There's a lot of people easily offended. There's a lot of people intimidated by your greatness. There's a lot of people, who she thinks she is. There's a lot of that. So of course there's the fear of success, because when we see how people treat strong, brilliant, bright people, it's no wonder people cower. What is it that you think about that? Like that, how we treat women who show up in their own light.
Oh, girl, I got a whole thing about that. Let's see. Um, it's an internal thing when people treat women who are really living into their version of themselves at their highest self and really going for the success map and creating something more than themselves, but not really more than themselves because it's within them to create. But it's a bigger place. And for people to use them as if they have no soul and no heart and no emotional connection to anything or anybody, and think it's okay to talk about them or shrink them or bring them down, that's good. That's what's going on inside that person. And so as I have now stepped, and I'm not even where I want to be at, but once you decide to be into the platform and in a social media um influencer, there are going to be things said, and there have been little things said just with the little stuff I'm doing, and I'm like, God, I'm not even near where I want to be doing these things. And a couple people are saying things. I'm literally, you got to be like, okay, this comes with the territory. This comes with territory. Does it hurt? Sometimes it does. Does it make you mad? Sometimes when you like, who they think they are, because they're always somebody invisible, and you can't see who they are making comments about you, or whatever. But you still can't let that stop you. You still cannot let it stop you, because otherwise you wouldn't make the impact that you're here to make. And my thing is just, I just look at source. Who's the source that's saying it? Look at the source, because it's something deeply wrong with that human being, that they feel the need to go and look at another person just trying to make their little piece of pie in this big old world. We all just have a big slice, a big pie, and we have our slice in it, and we get to do with it what we want to do with it, and we get to show up in it the way we choose to show up with it. And I do it very unapologetically, and I just decided that's it. This is it.
Absolutely. And you know what? We both, I can't think of her name. We both follow this one Instagram influencer who says, nobody's watching you like the haters that hate you. So give them a good show.
I know. And I'm telling you, me who used to model, y'all.
Yeah. But I think
I'm
it's
like,
good for, I think we need to be real. It's not about, look, let's not put a negative spin on this. No, women need to know this, so they know that when it shows up, it's not that they're doing it wrong. It's not that they need to be fixed. It is simply part of the design of being someone who's impacting the world, is
yeah,
having people who are scared, intimidated by what you're doing. They feel uncomfortable, and so therefore we go after what we don't understand. It some people do, but women need to know that, because it scares women. But if you know that we're all the people who are showing up in a big way are dealing with it to some extent, then it may not make it okay, but it makes it better to know this is just simply part of the design. And if you want to
yeah,
show up big in the world, you're going to have to take that sacrifice.
absolutely. And I'm like, when you can't look at another person and find something good about what they are doing, I mean, really, you have to go within yourself and figure out, why don't I see something good in what this person is doing? And you may not agree with it, you may not align to it, but you can see something good in what anybody who's doing something good in the world. And give them their props for that, and own, celebrate that woman. We all do something different, but I celebrate every woman that I personally know, because I know she is dealing with life.
Yeah. They say that anything that triggers you in another person is something you need to heal.
Right, right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And as you and me and any other woman who's running a business, and we deal with other women in our businesses, we know that very clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. So you posted something today and I shared it too because it was perfect, but I
Yeah,
wanted to talk about it. I'm celebrating myself loudly this year. I don't care if nobody claps, I'll clap real loud.
yeah.
How do you celebrate yourself, Doris? What do you do to make sure that that young girl whose dreams are still her dreams is supported by self?
Well, I'm going to have to say, and I don't have it in the glam room studio, but there's a certain woman, I shall not say, but I might, who created a phenomenal planner called the Deep End Planner, by the way, by Shannon Crotty. That planner supports me in that because the way you outlined it and put it together, it keeps you in the remembrance of that dream. And you cannot help but not remember it because when you're in that planner and planning out your thing, it brings you back. It's totally meant to bring you back because we can forget. I mean, we know, but we can forget. And so I think you need to have a tool that supports you in keeping your dream alive, having you be accountable to it, writing things in it, making yourself go back and revisit what you've written because we can forget or pretend we forget or get scared and whatever we do. But you got to have some kind of tool that supports you in remembering your dream because otherwise we would just do the dang on dream back when wherever it came from. But because it's a remembering, it's that every day going in, how big do I want to play? How accountable am I to this? And that keeps me very accountable to me doing this new dream. And keeping the other pieces of my business operating because they have to fund the new dream.
Absolutely. I'm glad it's having such a great impact on you. It was not to go too far in it. I had to build it for myself because I couldn't find it elsewhere. And to remain in focus, which, visionaries are typically, it's very normal for us to have a problem with focus because we got so many ideas. To remain in focus was the goal. So I'm so glad that that's also having the same effect for you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about being a decade dot. You
Okay.
talked about when you first joined that you just wanted to connect with women who lived in other areas.
Yeah.
How has your utilization of the community, your intention with the community changed in the 10 years you've been in it?
That's a great question. Okay, so in the beginning, that was my focus, making sure I connected, meeting, and building relations with so many women. As I've grown, not that I still don't have that focus, it's shifted. So it's the intent of deeper the connections I've made with the women that I feel deeply connected to, building those even more stronger. Really reinforcing those relationships. I mean, so they're pretty solid. Um, I don't do as many dot connects as I did once upon a time, just really schedule wise and just energy wise and shifting and changing. And sometimes for me, I have to really be very conscious of my own personal boundaries and knowing that um I have to be really careful who gets to be in the space. Um and that's powerful and it probably some people can feel maybe I don't want I don't know if the word is dejected, but everybody can't be in the space, which is just the evolution of the growth. And so, which is why I don't do as many because they take a lot of energy out of you to connect to people, to make that connection.
Right.
And I really, right now, for what I'm doing, I have to be really connected to women who are literally walking in their full power. I it's very conscious the women I will not connect with or read not connect with because we're seeing what each other is doing. So you kind of know who's playing a big game, who's still doing that. I want to be with those women because that's the energy I need. And so that's how it sort of has shifted for me. So the connections are deeper. And I've just kind of grown with how the growth, I think, of Polka Dot over these 10 years.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, because I think, you know, we're right at 3,000 members. You're not going to have 3,000 besties. You're not going to be close to that many people. You might have 3,000 potential allies, and having a community that big is intimidating for some, is, you know, energetic for others. But you're going to ebb and flow with who, and as you evolve, that's going to change, and it's going to deepen. And so I think that that is very much the way that it should be. If you try to connect with 3,000 people, then we're going to come bring you a sip of something on the floor with a straw, because you're not going to do it. And so to have that anticipation of that, what tool, like in our community, what aspect of it do you think you utilize the most at this point? Like, is that connects? Is that meetings? Is that collaborations? Is it primarily celebration? What aspect of what we do you think you utilize most right now?
I do stay very connected. I'm part of the worldwide chapter, so I do stay very connected to attending those events, and then trying to figure out other virtual ones I can do. Collaborations, yes. Big on still doing collaborations, knowing what certain people do. I mean, recently had a couple dot connects with a couple women that just felt a good vibe with, and instantly was like, oh, you need to know so and so, so and so. Because here's the thing, to be in this community, you do need to be building relationships and connections, so you know who to say somebody should know. And like, you can't be in here for 10 years and not know people. I mean, like, you should know some people. So I was able to be like, oh, I think you're XYZ. I think you're XYZ. I just think you should meet XYZ here, over here, and XYZ, you should meet this one, because I felt like you two should meet. Now, what you two do together is not my problem, but because I'm like, I listened to this woman, I felt her energy, and I was like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, oh, you should meet that. But I met this XYZ woman because I'm connected to another woman who thought, oh my God, you got to meet so and so. And that was just like, oh, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's how this place works. And I'm telling you, when people want to make it work another way, it doesn't work. It
Yeah.
works with building the relationships. And so that's my thing now, is just collaborating, with the ones that are definitely aligned. Man, it's real. I mean, you have no clue how that really works when you're that intentional about it. You, I'm gonna say it anyway. So sometimes you think you're supposed to connect with certain people, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. And I just think that's something telling you it's just not the time
Right.
at this current moment to connect with that person. And you just let it go. You don't rethink it. You don't get all in a tizzy about it. You
Yeah.
just let it go and be like, okay, we're all doing something. And so I'm like, don't get offended. If something doesn't work out that you actually don't dot connect with somebody. So people are doing life, and sometimes it's just not the time.
Yeah. Two things that you said really resonated there with me. First off, if you have to push something, if you have to fight too hard for it, it might not, as far as a connect, it may not be the
Yeah.
right time, and that's okay. But also, I think sometimes people think, oh, a connection company, I'm supposed to get all the connects. And sometimes that's true, but probably half the connects, you are the connector, you are the connecting the dots. For me, a good portion of the time, I'm always looking for the reason I was meant to connect with someone. Sometimes it's me, and sometimes I am the middleman. And 3 months later, I'm going to hear of someone who needs that person. It is not just a direct dot to dot. Sometimes it's dot to dot to dot to dot.
Right.
And that is like you said, a magical and beautiful thing if you embrace that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but you gotta listen, and I mean, that's the thing. Oh, sometimes, when someone doesn't really care about meeting you and they just are there for themselves. You've got to listen. You've got to take the time to listen. And even sometimes you get all wrapped up and one person is sharing more than the other person, then you just set up another connect if it's a vibe there. So then you can still know more because you just don't know where they're going to go energetic wise and what. And it's okay. And I'm okay with that because sometimes you just get caught up in something and the conversation just goes. And before you know it, it's like, okay, we got to go. Let's
Right.
just reconnect again. And I think and then I sometimes feel over the years that sometimes some people get offended, you know, and I'm just like, this is not a place to be offended. This is the magical land.
Right.
There is no really, if you get offended, that's on you. But sometimes you can feel an offense, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um, but it's magical land.
Yeah.
And this place can this place called Polka Dot Powerhouse can change your life if you understand what it's for.
Absolutely. And if you understand that as a human, you have limited energy, you have limited time. If this is a magical land, if you're going to spend your time here in offense and in trying to make the drama and in, some itty bitty shitty committee stuff, you're wasting what could have propelled you somewhere that you wanted to go. So you got to make a choice sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. And I'm like, I'm I'm like, we're sitting here doing a decade plus interview for dots who've been here 10 years. I'm telling you, the 10 years is, it's 10 years. 10 years ago, it's 10 years later. I can't imagine not being a part of Polka Dot Powerhouse, not because of you, Shannon. It has nothing to do with you. I'm grateful you created Polka Dot, but it's for the women that I've gotten to meet, which is also because you created Polka Dot. But I'm not in Polka Dot for Shannon Crotty. I'm in Polka Dot for the fabulous Dorris Burch. I get something out of being in Polka Dot. Polka Dot gives me life. I then want to give life back to Polka Dot um, because I believe Polka Dot has just brought so much to me. But Polka Dot has given me way more than I feel I've ever given Polka Dot. And who would have known that I would have reaped the benefits that I have reaped when all I just came in for was just to make all these amazing connections with women who I didn't know in other places.
Yeah.
And I get so much more from Polka Dot. Um, so, and over the years, of course, you find people who come who aren't, like somebody I was celebrating. I thought she was part of Polka Dot. She's not yet. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're waiting for. But anyway, I was trying to give her some dot connections. She was like, to tell you I'm not a part of Polka Dot. You're not. You are. And I'm like, but you should be. If she's like, well, can I still connect with those women? Well, obviously so. I thought you would be a great person to know them. They know you. But this is how it is. It's like you just see the beauty in people. And I think she was shocked by that, by the way, because she thought I was going to take back the connects. Like she couldn't have them. I already done introduced y'all. You do what you want with it. But she was like, can I really talk to them? Yeah, you can. It's, but why not join? But this is how it is in this world. It's like, I was just sharing. I was sharing some women with her.
And I got to go back to something you said. I gotta. When you talk about, you're not, you said me, but for any other member too, you're not here because of another member. You're not here for a leader. I know we all want to serve, but that's not really when you are here. It's a life. It's that oxygen mask when you are in Polka Dot or any other group for that matter for you and showing up in a way that brings you joy and in authenticity, then you do serve others by simply serving yourself. And so I think that sometimes women feel guilty. Oh, I mean, I'm really here to help other people. I get that. That's why most humans are on this earth. But when you show up wherever you're going to show up for you to benefit your joy, to benefit your advancement, but you show up in a pure, authentic way, you are going to affect every other person in that area, in that community, in a positive, impactful way as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just gave us a platform for us to join, to be a part of. We get to choose. Um, but I'm like, when you're choosing, make sure you're choosing something for real and not choosing something superficial, because you don't know who you are as a woman and you want to make it about something else when it's really about you not owning, back to owning your power. Because I'm telling you, a woman who is confident, owns her power, does not generally have any issues with other women.
Right. And one of the reasons they don't have any issues, if some other woman tries it, they just walk away. That I don't got time for this. Goodbye. Right? They know
Yeah,
themselves well enough.
yeah, you like, unless somebody did something really to you,
Right.
um, other than that, really nobody's, there's no big thing. I mean, I yeah, I'm like, this is
Competition, people at the bottom are competing. People at the top who understand themselves well, who are at a higher level of thinking, are collaborating, not competing.
yeah. And I want you to be exactly who you are and then some, because
Right.
it's inspirational. I want all the other women who are playing a bigger game to just continue to play. Because you look at them and you're like, okay, if she can, I can. It literally is, we see that on statements and stuff, and people must think people just say it. It's true. We do things for ourselves, but it's also for the lookers who are looking, are the people who can be inspired by us doing something bigger out of our comfort zone, all the time. And it's inspiring. I'm like, okay, okay, for those people. I mean, I remember back, you were doing something, it was at a celebration, but anyway, um, I just watched you on stage, and here you are talking. It's the thing you do. I don't know how you feel about it. At that time, I didn't. But you're the leader of this magical land, and so here you are on stage, and you have to be the leader on the stage. And I watched you, and I go, yeah, the leader. Yeah, she's the leader of this thing. Yeah, okay, be the leader of my thing too. I can do that. Can
Yeah.
do that. And we need to see women doing that, so we know that we can do that. When I stepped on that stage in October, I was like, oh my God, I'm in a room, a lot of those women I know, one way or another, even the ones I don't know. But what I knew, one thing, that you had created a sisterhood. So I'm like, this is a sisterhood. And this is nothing but love in this room. I've never spoken in front of that many people in person. I was like, just use me. Just use me, God. Just use me. Because who knows what we're going to say? I know I'm supposed to say something I thought I was supposed to say. I don't know what I'm saying. Let me just get up there and just use me, because I don't remember anymore. And it was because I saw you and I kept thinking, if Shannon can stand on this stage, so can I.
Yeah.
If
And it
Shannon
was
can,
such a fabulous presentation, Doris. It was, you would not know that you were thinking, oh yeah, I think I'm supposed to say something. You were so in your element. Like, you're so in your element when you teach other women how to be unapologetically themselves. And I know that your passion is fashion, but and you're no longer in that coaching realm, but you are still coaching through what you bring to the world, through the vision of your of fashion and of style, because it's just another version of that, right?
it really still is all the same thing. Everything goes back to the same thing. And actually, we're going to step back into the coaching realm, just because I now love it a little bit more than, I mean, the love for it has come back
Right.
in a different way. I had to figure out what I'm really here to say in
Right.
all the things, and what the clothes do, and all the things. One thing I want women to understand about the power of clothes, which has been always my thing, even when I was younger, and the reason I majored in fashion merchandising was that I understood the power of clothing. I don't care what you're wearing, but whatever you're wearing, you have to love it. You have to love what you're wearing.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what it is, long as you love it, and we can feel your love of it through your clothes when you hit the room, because your clothes will speak to everybody out there how you feel about yourself.
Right.
And people don't understand it. And so I'm like, when women are knowing they're in these positions and they want to be really in their confidence and power, you got to look at your clothes. Do they say you are powerful? Do they say you are the thing? Do they speak that? Or are people hearing something else from your clothes? And so, but that becomes about being visible.
Right.
Our clothes make us hide, or they make us shine
Yeah.
and be seen. And I'm like, my whole message is don't be invisibly fabulous. That really is it. Don't be invisible. Don't be invisible to yourself. And that's what women have to start, just seeing themselves, see who it is they are, and stop hiding from who it is they are, and be seen and be visible. And then, fabulous is just owning your power. It's just a fancy way to say own your power. You
Absolutely.
know?
I love it. I love it. What advice, we're going to wrap up here because I know you are heavy like me on abundance. We got other things to do in the world today. What advice would you give a dot that's maybe not a decade dot, that's fairly new, or maybe even a year in? What advice would you give them to get the most out of our community?
Well, we got to go back to where I said I joined Polka Dot because I genuinely, I deeply desired to build relationships with women that didn't live where I live.
Yeah.
And that didn't matter if they were local dots at the time or women who lived in other places. That tool is still available.
Right.
If you don't have a chapter in your community, in your part of worldwide, or you are in Australia, or you're in London, or you're in Canada,
Right.
you're in Canada, you can connect with somebody in Australia. You're in Australia, you can connect with somebody in London. You're in London, Australia, Canada, you can connect with somebody in the United States.
Right.
Come on. This is what we have here.
Right.
Build the relationship. Genuinely want to know something about another woman. Genuinely want to know.
Yeah.
You want to know something about her, not coming with an agenda. I no agenda. I
Right.
think why I have really benefited from Polka Dot and was able to show up, do all my things. I literally didn't have an agenda where it had to be, this is, you got to work with me, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. That was not, never. All the things I have been fortunate in collaborations I've had, it's not that I had a underlying agenda. And I think if you have that agenda, like this got to be about you, and somehow you got to make money and your business and all that, Polka Dot is not going to work for you. that, that's what I've seen over 10 years. I've seen people come and go.
Right. Yeah.
And the one that and it's generally because they had an agenda.
Absolutely. And what they did not get, possibly, is that everything is connected. So when you build people who build you up, it affects. There's a lot of people who do business within Polka Dot, but that's not the point. When you do things and you surround yourself with powerful people who believe in you and build you up, it not only affects your business, it affects everything. So
Yes.
everything grows and improves, not just your business, but it's also a marathon, not a sprint. If you walk in, well, I didn't get a closing today. Yeah, you're not here for a reason that's probably going to serve you in Polka Dot.
Right, right. So yeah, just generally want to connect with another woman. If that's your heart, oh my gosh.
You're in the right
That
place.
that's it. That's it. This is a
Yeah,
sisterhood. Literally a
absolutely.
sisterhood.
I love it. I love it. So, Doris, first of
Yes.
all, what are you focused on right now that we should know about? Do you have any projects in the works? Like, what are you focused on right now?
Okay. So I say this all the time, and people think it's trivial or superficial, but we live in a world that this is required, especially when you're in this social media game. Numbers, numbers, numbers count. So I just was like, follow me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, all at the fabulous Dorris Burch. The fabulous Doris Burch. That's how anybody can support me right now. Is it's just click a button.
It's easy. Just support me. And I'll tell you that it won't just be about supporting Doris, because Doris's content is encouraging, informative. It encourages growth and positive, advanced mindset. Like Doris isn't just like, hey, follow me. Doris's content is life-changing. So you're not only supporting Doris, you're supporting yourself in doing so. We're going to put all that information in the description down below, but say it again. Say it again where they
Yes,
find you.
I am at the fabulous Doris. Oh, I mean, Dorris. There's two R's in Doris, Burch, Burch. So the fabulous Dorris Burch. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm doing something really powerful right now. I'm on day 44 of the 75 Hard Style Challenge. You guys, this is for all women because we all have closets full of clothes. This challenge is just for you to shop your own closet.
Love it. And every day, I mean, she's not just saying she's doing it. Every day you see what she did that day, which is also really encouraging, because it's also fun to see how Doris puts things together with her amazing, brilliant mind. Yay. Doris, thank you so much. I could talk to you forever. I think you're one of my very favorite people on earth, and I could talk to you
Yes.
forever.
And I am, and you are one of my very favorite people. And that's why I'm telling, I tell people, oh, you can talk to Shannon. I know some people don't know they can really talk to you. And of course, everybody's not going to connect with you the way you and I connect with each other and all the things. But you are, oh my gosh, you are extraordinary, powerful. I love you. I'm so grateful to be a part of your dream and vision and all the things. And I support you in all the things that you do and all the fabulous things. And you have a beautiful family. I just love who you are, Shannon. I love you. I love who you are. I'm glad we are closer people to each other than just this that people see. We really, you know, we
Yes.
really are.
Yeah.
We really are like sisters
We
from
are.
mother,
You
daddy.
are. The day that my sister and God decided to put you and I are on each other's path was a huge blessing and gift in my life. And I absolutely love you, Doris. So thank you so much for the
I
challenge.
absolutely love you. And I mean, I know how they work to get us together because I go back to look at the dots that were connected to get it. It happened a whole year before it happened. So they were working.
Yes. Awesome. So please go find Dorris Burch. She is one of our fabulous decade dots. She's been with our community and making positive, impactful influence and connection in our community for over 10 years. And she deserves all of the admiration and love we have for her, which is immense. We will be back soon with another interview with a decade dot. Until then, we hope that you are finding joy and connecting on a daily. Thank you so much.